6 minutes after 11 o'clock. I'm going to share something with you that, unless you do a radio show, you really can't relate to this. But I'm going to share it with you because it's my story. I'm going to share you my story, right? When you get together with family, we all have we've got funny stories we can tell about things that give us a little bit of anxiety and this and that, right? So one of the things that happens to me, and it probably happens to you, Robin, is that when you're with people, now honestly, this doesn't happen with my immediate family. They all kind of know who I am and what I am. But those who don't know, but they hear that I do a radio show, they will almost always bring up something political. And it's almost like they want to get, you know what they want to do? They want to get into it because they think I'm the guy or like the guy that they listen to that they disagree with.
Exactly.
So they want to get...
Yeah.
And all I remember, all I can do is think, oh gosh, the difference between real life and the radio show is that the radio show has a clock and I have to go to commercial break. So 15 minutes into this uncomfortable conversation with the relative of the relative of the relative who I don't even know who this guy is.
Right.
And he's trying to tell me how wrong I am about politics when I never even brought it up.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah. You look at the clock and you see, I think I got to take a commercial break right now. And of course, it doesn't happen. Well, look here, that's mine. You have your own. Everybody has their own anxieties as we approach the holidays. We love the holidays. We love getting together with family, but there's a certain element, and you know what I'm talking about. Dr. Chloe Carmichael is on the phone, and so far, to me, sounds like she's got a sweet voice. I wouldn't mind having her as a psychologist. She is a licensed clinical psychologist. She's a career coach, an expert in anxiety.
Yeah, we should bring her to family gatherings.
And she teaches stress management techniques. Yeah, I wonder what kind of questions she gets at family gatherings. She teaches stress management techniques at Fortune 500 companies, and she's on the phone to talk to us about our issues.
Yes.
The relationship prescription is what I hear. Dr. Chloe's relationship prescription for the holidays and the top 3 holiday stress buttons. Oh, the top 3. I can't wait to hear what they are. How you measure that. Dr. Chloe, she said don't call her Dr. Carmichael, call her Dr. Chloe. Good morning, Dr. Chloe.
Good morning, Larry and Robin. Thanks so much for having me.
You sing when you talk.
Yes, she does. She's like Snow White.
You.
With the little birds on her fingers.
That was singing right there.
Oh, well, thank you so much again for having me. And I'm really excited to talk about how to survive the holidays with the ones you love.
Yeah, where are you right now? Where are you calling from?
I'm in New York City.
All right, I live in New York. Robin's mom is there right now, right?
Yep, with my son and daughter-in-law.
She'll be flying back to Florida this afternoon.
Yep, we'll be picking her up.
Yeah, she had a
Lovely.
good time. She saw the Charlie Brown things in Macy's windows.
Oh, she loved those pictures. Those are wonderful.
You know, when we talk about the stresses that we encounter, is that the word? Like when you're at family gatherings, I think everybody has their own stories. We all have something, don't we?
Mm-hmm. We absolutely do. Everybody's got something.
So before we go to what I can do, can you tell me if I can somehow know, like, am I somebody's stress? Like, is somebody saying, oh gosh, I hope I don't run into Uncle Larry? Does that happen? I mean, do I need to do a little bit of changes on my end?
Oh, good question.
Well, yeah, that is a great question, Larry. That's wonderful that you're trying to think about others. You sound like a wonderful person. I think it sounds like if you're going into the holidays and you're thinking about how to have great relationships with people and enjoy yourself and be sensitive to others, Larry, I'm sure you don't have anything to worry about.
Well, yeah, okay, I appreciate that. So what are the top 3? What are the top 3 holiday stress buttons?
Mm-hmm. Well, the top 3 holiday stress buttons are marriage and family building, number 1, because around the holidays, people tend to suddenly feel this big pressure to have kids or that kind of thing, or pop the question.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Second one is in-laws and family conflict, and then number 3 would be finances and gift giving.
Oh.
There you go. Well, we all like to be able to give gifts.
Let's start there. So how do you know what to do? You want to. Let's say you're doing pretty well in life, and you know that your cousin isn't doing as well, and you're invited to the house. You say he's got some kids. I'm going to bring some nice gifts. Are you doing something impolite by bringing gifts better than what they can buy for their own kids?
Oh, wow. What a great question. Well, I think that it's important to be sensitive to the parent who maybe doesn't have the financial resources that you do. At the same time, you don't want to deprive those children of enjoying the gifts that you want to give to them just because of their parents' sensitivities.
Yeah.
So what you might consider doing is actually speaking to the parent about it in advance and saying, I was really thinking it would be a great gift if I could get Johnny some, special private baseball lessons or whatever it was that you were thinking of, and say to the parent, would that be okay with you? Once the parent feels a little bit involved in the choice, then they usually relax a little bit.
You said something about marriages and stuff. Do we get on at each other's throats, or do you mean like your brother's wife, that kind of thing?
Yeah. Well, sometimes the holidays do literally bring people together into homes where maybe they haven't even visited together very much throughout the year, and then suddenly you're all together under one roof for several days. And so that can result in a little tension, as well as actually the pressure to build a family, to have kids. A lot of times couples come home for the holidays, and that's when the future grandparents start saying, when am I going to have a grandchild?
Yeah. I've been avoiding that. I'm not in that category anymore. I'm older. But see, my son is there, see, and I wouldn't want to do that to him. But you're dying to ask that question, but you don't go there, right?
Well, there's ways to bring it up that can be sensitive and bridge building. Sometimes people actually really want to talk about it and get some resources. A lot of times, though, actually couples want to have a baby, and they're having trouble conceiving, and then it can become kind of a vicious circle because the holidays themselves can become stressful. So I'm actually working with a company that's providing an app for couples that want to manage that stress, because you are actually more likely to get pregnant once you are managing your stress better in the first place. So there's an app, it's called the Fruitful app at Fruitful Way, and they provide romantic reminders to couples so that they can have sex during their fertile window, because during the holidays everything can get so hectic that sometimes couples get
You need it. Right. Whoa.
Wow, an app for having
Why don't you
sex.
just depend on the man? Because the man will say, what time is it? Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, basically just say, honey, let's go. Okay. He'll say, okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's all. I guess that's all you would need is the app would give you that little nudge to let you know.
Oh, I would rig that app. I would say, I think your app is buzzing, honey.
Yeah. Well, that's great. So, I mean, as you said, sometimes it can become something where the future grandparents, they want to help, they want to offer resources, but they also don't want to hound their adult children about it. The best thing to do is just an open dialogue and say, hey, I don't want to hound you about it. We don't have to talk about it if you don't want to, but we're all excited about the possibility of expanding the family and wanted to know if that's on the radar for the next year.
Sometimes when you have family gatherings and people get together that you haven't seen in a few years, they'll make promises and they'll say, oh, I'll come over and see you after the holidays and stuff like that. And is that a bad idea to make a promise, because sometimes they're not kept?
Well, sometimes I guess it's the thought that can count, simply just expressing how much you would really love to see somebody even after the holidays. As you know as well, we can all be very well-intentioned, but sometimes we just get busy. So we might even consider making our plans before we wrap up the holiday. So as you're leaving, you might say, we have to make sure that we don't go so long before seeing each other. Let's take out our calendars right now and plan our next get-together, even if it's in January or February, so it's on the books.
Good idea.
Dr. Chloe is our guest. We're talking about anxiety during the holidays, especially at parties. We'll be right back.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accident. A nice day today under partly sunny skies with a high of 72 to 76. A partly cloudy Tuesday night with lows ranging from the mid-50s inland to the mid-60s at the coast. Tomorrow, intervals of clouds and sunshine, but there may be a shower or thunderstorm in spots along the coast, the high 74 to 78. Thursday, times of clouds and sun, high 74 to 78. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Joe Lundberg.
Looking to put your money to work? Florida Credit Union has 3 CD specials, 12 months for 1.05% APY, 24 months for 1.50% APY, 36 months for 1.75% APY each with a $10,000 minimum. Federally insured by the NCUA. APY equals annual percentage yield. These rates effective through December 31st, subject to change at any time. Visit one of Florida Credit Union's convenient locations today or visit their website at flcu.org.
The very best in quality is Captain T's upholstery.
Is that couch cushion sinking lower every time you sit in it? Does your boat look better with the cover on? Has your car's interior seen its better days? Stop using a towel to cover up those rips in the golf cart. Isn't it about time you had it restored to better than new with a custom upholstery from Captain T? Captain T's upholstery has been right here in Ocala for nearly 20 years, so they know how to make your ride one of a kind. Whether you want to take that classic ride back to a factory look or put your favorite sports team front and center, Captain T's upholstery is who to call. 352-369-1810. That's 352-369-1810. Or stop by their location, 5030 South Pine Avenue in Ocala, just past the drive-in. And of course, don't forget to visit them on the web, CaptainTUpholstery.com.
The very best in quality is Captain T's upholstery.
Hey, Matt, I know Sunrise Automotive does auto stuff, but I need some tires for my truck. Can you recommend someone?
Yes, I can. We do that.
No, I mean, I need them installed and balanced and all that.
Yep, we do that.
Well, my son needed his windows tinted.
Yep, we do that.
I need my
too.
seat replaced.
Yep, we do that too.
I need a new roof line, a new spoiler, and a new trunk.
We can even do that too.
Okay, I get it. I suppose you can also do a radio show too, huh?
Well, as a matter of fact, join me every Monday at 10 for auto repair with personal care here on The Source.
Of course you do.
Stay informed on everything going on in the Villages with the Village Spectator newspaper. The Village Spectator is exclusively devoted to the Villages with news, commentary, and more. And yes, they have Tom's Picks, a free referral for people who are looking for a company to do work for them. Tom's Picks will refer the company that fits your needs, and all we ask is that you tell them where you heard about them. Call Tom's Picks at 804-1223 and pick up your copy of the Village Spectator today.
Now read Ocala Downtown newspaper online.
All right, 18 minutes after 11 o'clock. Thank you for staying tuned. Dr. Chloe Carmichael is on the phone. She's up in New York, and she's talking about relationships and the anxieties that might have an issue during the holidays, especially get-togethers. So, Dr. Chloe, can I share something with you from this morning?
Yes, Larry, please.
Okay, we had a little bit. It was a funny bit, but it was a trending topic on one of these websites, and it was called "Over the River and Through the Woods to the Unfiltered Grandmother's House We Go." And people were texting, "Oh, this is what my grandma said to me." So I picked a few out to share with you. And this would be examples of people who say, "Oh my gosh, I don't know that I ever want to go back there again." When my older sister, somebody wrote, when my older sister told my family she was pregnant out of wedlock, my grandmother sighed, looked at me, and said, "We always thought it would be you."
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
yeah.
It's pretty funny.
Yeah. Here's another one. My brother came out as gay to my grandmother, and she said, "I always knew girls weren't going to like you from the beginning."
Oh.
I know. Another one, the Christmas card from Grandma said, "Maybe next year you'll make us proud."
My goodness.
How
wow,
bad
those
is-
are some zingers.
They are.
But there is some truth in that, because you're right. I mean, it really is sometimes the little digs that can get under people's skin and cause stress during the holidays if we don't have a game plan.
And sometimes I think the sense of humor of an older person doesn't exactly line up with the sense of humor of a younger person. So I'm thinking maybe they thought they were being funny, but the kids took it as very offensive, right?
Absolutely. Humor can be a tool that can sometimes make things go really well, and sometimes it can be used as a passive aggression.
How do you help the people in the workplace? Because there's there are such diverse cultures in there. I mean, you have to be politically correct, but you don't want to compromise your own belief and your own happiness.
Sure, absolutely. I mean, the holidays in the workplace is such a hot topic right now. How do we celebrate without making other people feel uncomfortable? I think, there's nothing wrong with certainly with wishing somebody a Merry Christmas or a Happy Hanukkah or however you want to celebrate. But it is true that in a professional environment, sometimes just going with a simple Happy Holidays can make things a little bit less stressful. So it just depends on your particular workplace and your relationships with people.
Do you have a website that lists the different tips? And I'm guessing if I'm conscientious of this, if I'm thinking to myself, okay, I don't want to be the creepy uncle, I don't want to be the one who says something out off color, then I'm going to be prepared with your information. But I also need to be prepared to like have a suit of armor against people who might get under my skin, right?
Absolutely, it is good. As you say, a suit of armor, I think a good game plan actually can be a suit of armor. So the nice thing is that a lot of times these comments, they don't just come out of the blue. Grandma doesn't just suddenly start coming up with these zingers. So if you know in advance and you have a plan, then you can think of a script that you're going to say. So if, say, that uncle, who isn't as sensitive as Uncle Larry, starts telling, offensive jokes or something, and you can have a script in advance where you say, Uncle Joe, I know that you're just trying to make everybody laugh and you have a great sense of humor and I'm really happy to see you. But can I ask that we don't focus on jokes that, are mean-spirited or make fun of particular groups? And that way you just have something in your back pocket in advance, and then it's less stressful.
Oh, you talk about changes during the holiday season. Things happen. People get ill. People get unmarried. Some people die. But we've seen some really happy people during the holidays that bad things have happened to them, but they still set up their Christmas tree and they still have the Christmas decorations.
Exactly, because we have to refuse to let certain sad events bring us down. Life is going to have its ups and its downs, and we have to choose behaviors that produce happiness. So absolutely, even if you're feeling a little blue, start putting up the Christmas tree, start hanging the lights. You'll get into the spirit sometimes just by activating the behavior of happiness.
I brought up in the intro the thing that might be unique to radio hosts, especially if people, assume that you are somebody who does a lot of political conversations, which we have our share of them. But even if you don't do a radio show, politics comes up. And I don't know, there's an organization, I don't know if it's national or just local, it's called the Lions Club. And if you're in the Lions Club, you're not supposed to talk about religion, politics, or what's the third thing? Or
no, that's it. Religion
and politics. Yeah, yeah. Those two subjects aren't supposed to come up. So, is that a good rule of thumb? I mean, or do you? How do you not bring up religion? It's a religious holiday.
Well, it's very much going to depend on the situation. But, however, because religion is obviously very sensitive, I think in the workplace it probably is a good topic to just steer clear of religion and politics. Your own family dynamics might be different. So, obviously, say that you are Christian and your brother, is married to somebody who's Jewish. Talking about your religious differences at the holidays, it just seems like you could find better ways to talk, with somebody, to bond with somebody. It's usually best to focus on what you have in common.
When you have a family gathering, sometimes people want to do something alternate during that evening of the festivities. They want to have the TV on to watch some certain sports or a holiday special. Do you advocate having a television somewhere so people can do that?
Sure, absolutely. I think a live and let live mentality is going to help everybody to have a more stress-free holiday. So if, Uncle Larry likes to watch his football game, then absolutely have a football den where the guys can go and watch football. There's no sense in trying to stop people from doing what they want to do. At the same time, though, it's absolutely wonderful to have, you could have a tech-free room where you play board games, you sit by the fire, you do all those other more old-fashioned types of Christmas activities or holiday activities.
So you should have a theme then. Maybe the hostess of the party should come up with a theme, and that would be pretty cool.
Sure, yeah. So that way, instead of telling people what not to do, you're just offering them different ways to do the things that they want to do.
Nice. Makes for an interesting movie, though, doesn't it? All these things. I mean, isn't this the stuff what's it? National Lampoon's Vacation?
I love that movie. It's so great.
Right? That's what this stuff is made. Those are the things that make the funny movies, don't they? You know why? Because we all relate to them. We understand this whole scenario that we're talking about, right?
Oh, yeah.
So how do you? I mean, I'm just looking at you. You're a very lovely looking lady, Dr. Chloe.
Well, thank you.
So you have a ticket, don't you? I mean, when you go to the event, nobody really wants to pick on you. You're a lovely lady.
Well, thank you. But however, I guess it's not even always about being picked on. Sometimes it can be about insecurities, as we talked about with finances, with gift giving, or the internal pressure where you feel like you need to have a family or you need to have the perfect holiday. We can all get a little bit stressed out. So I'm a big advocate of people having a game plan.
You know who I always feel for? It's the awkward age kids, the 17-year-old boy who's really in his room the whole time, and mom finally says, "Come on out, John. Let's come on, join the group." And here he comes, and he's got kind of different looking hair and different looking clothes, and he feels very awkward. He's not sociable yet, and he hasn't developed those skills. Don't you always feel sorry for that guy, and you want to say, "Hey, Johnny, how you doing? How's it going?" And he's as uncomfortable with you doing that, and it's kind of weird. You don't know how to, connect at that point.
Sure, Larry. That's a great one. Again, and a really good example of how these stressors are usually predictable. So it's not going to be a surprise to you. You know you have a 17-year-old nephew who's awkward. And so you're going there knowing this in advance. So why not speak with his mom and say, "Hey, can you tell me maybe 2 or 3 cool things that Mark did this year? How's he doing in school?" Find out a little bit in advance, and that way you know what topics to ask him about, so you can draw him out a little bit.
Food is a huge part of the holiday season, and when a hostess has people over and you have all of this food there, is it proper for her to put some kind of notes on the food because she knows that some of her relatives are diabetic, and then maybe she could put sugar-free and a couple things.
Label them, yeah, it's a good idea.
Label them.
Good idea.
Absolutely, yes, Robin. That's a great one. It's a very sensitive thing for the hostess to do, and it shows that she's thinking about her guests in advance. And that actually touches on another one that happens for people, speaking of Christmas cookies, is emotional eating during the holidays.
Oh, yeah.
But again, the beauty of it is that it's predictable. You know if you're an emotional eater. It doesn't just, happen one day all of a sudden. You know in advance.
No, I know.
So the beauty of it is that you can go ahead and bring along some lower calorie snacks for yourself, some special fruit, whatever it is that you need to do, so that way you're not just sitting there wrestling with that plate of Christmas cookies.
Do you like pecan pie?
Who doesn't like pecan pie, Larry?
Because I'm just thinking about Robin's idea. If I have a note in my pocket that says, "Don't touch the pie, it's reserved for Uncle Larry," then I'll have more pie later on, won't I?
That's right.
A special reserved note. I like that.
Thank you.
Yeah. And another thing. When the casserole, everybody doesn't do this, but some people have the mystery casserole where people bring in food, but they don't announce who made what.
Yes.
Right? And then as it's being passed around the table, everybody's like passing up the one you made, and you're going, "Jeez, nobody's touching my tuna."
I know.
Oh, that sensitivity.
I made the best tuna salad ever. Nobody's touching it.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's where you would want to remember that really you came there to share with people and to just enjoy the time together, and everybody has different reasons. Maybe they love that tuna casserole, but they're trying to avoid emotional eating. Who knows?
I think I'm going to move to New York and have some mental issues. I'm going to find Dr. Chloe.
I'll come anytime, Larry.
Just hang out. I'll just hang out. I'll bring a pecan pie too, by the way.
Wonderful.
Ready with.
Sounds like a plan.
Dr. Chloe, can you give us a website that'll give us more information?
Sure, absolutely, Larry. You can come to my website, which is Dr. Chloe, DrChloe, or the app I mentioned is fruitfulway.com.
Okay, fruitfulway.com and drchloe.com. We'll put this interview and those websites on the Facebook link and on the YouTube link. Dr. Chloe, thank you so much. Have a great holiday season.
Thanks, Larry and Robin. You as well.
We'll be right back.
Let's go into his bank account on November 18th. That could have been a loan, but that's a large loan if it's more than half the salary he was getting as a San Bernardino County employee.
Fox's Jonathan Hunt. Secretary of State John Kerry's in Paris talking climate change with leaders of other nations. He says any agreement there would only be a start.
It builds a platform if we do it properly. It sets the roadmap. It's the foundation for our ability to be able to know that we can move forward.
The officials aiming to hammer out an agreement by the end of the week. Stocks are sharply lower with another drop in crude oil prices hurting energy stocks. The Dow down about 200 points. Fox News. We report, you decide.
Meet Rachel. She's making serious money on her own schedule driving with Uber.
I was looking for something that was convenient and something that would help me to reach my financial goals. A friend suggested Uber and I liked it. I love the convenience of it. So I log on when I'm available and log off when I'm not. And it's very, very easy to do. Just get in your car and you drive. But I like driving my car.
Thanks, Rachel. To start making great money with your car, sign up to drive today at drivewithuber.com. That's drivewithuber.com.
Thursday on NBC, Dolly Parton's true story comes to life in a holiday television event. A child with an impossible dream to become a star, facing tragedy and overwhelming struggles with nothing but love and family.
Love ain't just a feeling, it's an action.
Ricky Schroeder and Jennifer Nettles star in the most inspirational movie of the season, Dolly Parton's Coat of Many Colors. Thursday on NBC.
Here are today's headlines from The Source. WOCA, the biggest power users in the state, are teaming up with consumer advocates today. They're trying to convince the Florida Supreme Court to pull the plug on Florida Power and Light's fracking plan. State law says utilities can recover the cost of generation, transmission, or distribution of electricity, but Florida Power and Light wants more. FP&L is billing customers to explore for natural gas in Oklahoma. The power company claims it's a hedge against future price increases and that customers will save in the long run. But the Public Counsel's Office, which represents consumers in utility cases, says the Public Service Commission never had the authority to approve this venture. The Public Counsel and the Florida Industrial Power Users Group want the court to overrule the PSC and put an end to the fracking surcharge. Enough is enough when it comes to terrorism. That's the message from Brevard County Sheriff Wayne Ivey, who posted that message on Facebook late Sunday, telling residents now is the time to bear arms. But some community leaders say they think more people carrying guns will cause more harm than good. Ivey's Facebook post has gone viral in just 24 hours. The 6-minute-long video, a safety message originally intended for Brevard County residents, has been viewed all over the world by more than 2 million people, over 3 times the county's population. In the video, Ivey suggests that concealed carry permit holders carry their firearms to protect themselves, their families, and those around them. In response to the national attention of the video, Ivey said, quote, "I think it was time for someone to stand up and say that the only thing that stops a bad guy with a gun is a good guy with a gun," unquote. A man faces multiple charges after the Marion County Sheriff's Office said he led deputies on a chase with a baby in the backseat of his car. Deputies arrested 29-year-old Clay Griffin on Sunday. Investigators said a homeowner in Anthony called a man in a car taking photos of his home. Deputies said they found a pipe and marijuana seeds in his car, along with an 11-month-old baby in the back seat. Griffin was charged with child abuse without great bodily harm, possession of drug paraphernalia, and fleeing and eluding. The baby was placed in the custody of the child's mother. The Florida Department of Children and Families is investigating. The Star Banner is reporting that a 54-year-old Ocala man died Sunday night from injuries sustained in a vehicle versus pedestrian accident on State Road 200. The man is identified in the report as Christopher Rizzo. The report states that Rizzo was struck by 4 vehicles as he attempted to run across State Road 200 just east of Southwest 60th Avenue. 3 of the vehicles stopped and the drivers talked with authorities. The 4th car momentarily stopped and then drove away. No charges have been filed and the investigation remains ongoing. Authorities are looking for the 4th vehicle. Corporal Wallace Dill said yesterday the vehicle that sped away is a smaller type SUV, perhaps the size of a Ford Explorer. Anyone with information is asked to contact Corporal Dill at 732-1260, extension 234. And baby Jesus won't be making his usual cameo at the state capitol because the church that does the nativity scene is taking a break. Pam Olson with the International House of Prayer says it's become a distraction because groups like the Satanic Temple were putting up their own displays. John Porgel with the temple says that's what freedom of religion is all about. Last year he had noted that the displays were there because freedom of religion applies to all religions and one couldn't corner the market to the exclusion of all others. And it seemed like everybody showed up last year. The Capitol Rotunda also got a Festivus pole and a flying spaghetti monster and a display. Without a nativity scene, there's nothing for the other religions to protest. And those are the headlines from The Source, WOCA 96.3 FM and 1370 AM.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accidents. A nice day today under partly sunny skies with a high of 72 to 76. A partly cloudy Tuesday night with lows ranging from the mid-50s inland to the mid-60s at the coast. Tomorrow, intervals of clouds and sunshine, but there may be a shower or thunderstorm in spots along the coast, the high 74 to 78. Thursday, times of clouds and sun, high 74 to 78. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Joe Lundberg.
This is Anthony James, General Manager of the Homewood Suites, wishing Marion County a wonderful and happy Merry Christmas from my family to yours. Be blessed.
Come to Palm Garden on Wednesday, December 9 from 6:30 to 8 and attend the 15th annual Light Up Palm Garden. There will be food, drinks, entertainment, fun, and of course, beautiful lights. There will even be a visit from a jolly old soul who will be available for pictures with the children. Palm Garden is located on the corner of 27th Avenue and 34th Street. See you at Light Up Palm Garden on Wednesday, December 9, beginning at 6:30.
Hi, this is Joe and Patsy Martone.
Wishing you a Merry Christmas
and a Happy New Year.
From
WOCA, The Source.
Ocala's information station, 1370 WOCA.
Ocala.